Greetings, dear ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ramazan Salpagarov. Thank you for your time to join our session. I'm the engineer developer of Sheremetyevo Holding, and today I want to tell you about the framework, the author of which I'm Vlad Kelfon, and I want to tell you about the experience of use it in the holding where I work. Here is my email, my Skype account, and shall you have any questions? I will perhaps not be able to answer them due to time limits. Please write me, contact me. I'm ready to dial you anytime. So this is the agenda of my today's event. Today I will answer to the next questions. Why do we need this at Sheremetyevo Holding? Why did we take this decision? How does this framework work? How much does it cost for us? And what are the plans for us for its further development. And then at the end, I do hope that I will get some more time to answer your questions. And before I will answer to the question, why do we need this? I want to read out a message that I've got in a chat from one of our colleagues, community RNUG, because we were discussing with him because of the state of affairs in our profession. And the citation is like this. The development should provide for a better efficiency, but not create the new workload for management. And I think this phrase is fully answering the question, why do we need this platform? Again, thank you very much for this citation. I have an honor to place this citation here, and I want to now to answer to this question in a more argumented way and clearly. I want to start with the following. I think, but it's not only my opinion, but the opinion of many modern companies, because there is a conflict of interest between business and the operator and the staff. And the conflict lies in the plane that the business should grow, and for this matter, business should systematize its all production manufacturing processes to make it possible for them to be scaled up without any horizontally fallings. And this will result in a decrease of costs. And all the time, the enterprise is searching for this optimization of its processes. And this search, I name this the try to be obvious. And there is a crystallization. It can be scalable. It makes business best for the others. But in the view of the regular stuff, this strife of an enterprise should be a negative thing, seen as a negative thing, because they are waiting that they will get some monotonous routine work. It doesn't develop. Of course, then at the end, the robots are waiting, and the payment for this work will be limited from the upper side, from up to down, by the cost of servicing of robots. For example, it's logically when you are making a robot that will make the same work, the business will buy a robot, and robotization is steadily taking new shares of the market. And there is a collision with the growth of your experience. You as a staff member wants to have more money, and you think that you are cleverer and you can give more money, and the business thing that if your experience cannot be horizontally scaled up or digitalized, why do we need to pay you? Because you will leave us tomorrow and then you will sell your experience in some other places. And here in this situation, we see the first place taken by the operators who are full of initiatives, who are ready to be developed for all the time, because during this digitalization, these people are ready to be digitalized and they are ready to study new technologies. And here is this, we see the look of platforms growth, because PCR is also dealing with this. And this is a comical situation, because on the first hand, we can say that this conflict relates to us, to the IT guys, because although we are from one side seeing this situation, we are digitalizing the other processes, But in this current running in a circle, we also forget that we have our own manufacturing process, which is developed on the basis of manufacturing and servicing of software, and it should be also digitalized. And this is the reason number one why we took Byte.Platform and began to make our own solution here, because with help of this wide platform, we can digitalize the processes and prepare them to the horizontal scaling. What is the process that we're speaking about? This is a classical process for the development of software. It has 4 stages within. When the request is going through an analysis at first, then we make an implementation of the solution, and then solution is developed for a business and granted to a business. With help of this platform, we've managed to automatize, not fully, but still in a huge part of it, of almost all categories that we have in our process. On the stage of business analysis, we could formalize the query, and in this query, in the bidding, we try to develop the business process and model of data. Then further, on the system analysis step, we don't need to think about the fact how our new solution will be integrated with other already existing modules, because all the applications of Byte.Platform are integrated very well with each other. And on the stage of development per se, we've left this tradition when we used to make the design from zero, from scratch, and we are just using the template design. And then later we are planning to make a generation of design from the DXL to cut down our cost for writing the outline. And in software making, in the coding, we went to the module coding, and at the same time, our code became reusable, and we just got less to code, but the quality is rising, and our quality is rising because we are using snippet-based development actively with FlashPast. We have a huge amount of macros, structures, so ready strings of the code, and the whole code becomes has less mistakes, and we have plus 20% of precision here. And in this platform, I also realized a pattern of MDC, and this is the real MDC that we've got used from the universities, and that we were lacking it because it was a problem in our work with Lotus. And now finally it's possible, and we will now from the 2021 will begin to write down the tests, and this will also increase the quality of our products and of our solutions. And in part of the delivery, I also made in the last year the whole presentation on RNUG, and we have experienced also a change. We are now using the white teams delivery, integration deals delivery, and of course there is real utilities integration, and it allowed, also it provided for the real precedents. It is not made by me. They can make a release of a solution 2 or 3 times a day. They launch it to a production, and administrator is not against this because the time to market is also cut down many times. Of course, we cannot solve all the problems only because of the automatization of processes, because I think it's also a challenging thing. And I think that we need to go from the imperative to the declarative development. And I want to now to disclose my position. What do I mean here right now? The essence of all the enterprise departments in the company is reduced to the fact that business should be more competitive on the market. It doesn't play a role how, but more competitive. This is the essence. And the main criteria of the assessment for the efficiency of work of a team is the speed of how the face department is responding to the request of the business. And the more the speed is, the better it is seen as the development. But the problem is when you are working on the high speed and for a lower cost, it is not so good in the end. Then the quality is falling. The engineer, the developer is brooming and grunting and says, I don't know, I cannot manage it, I need more time. And business says, I don't need it tomorrow, I need it now. So give it to me something. And then at the end, it takes a short period of time and the application is degrading, and the solution is falling down. You cannot support the solution. Business tells to the IT guys that they are incompetent, and in the best case, it is changing the team, or takes the other people, or changes the platform, or provides for outsource, and starts this round for a new. And I think it's better to understand, to try to understand that there is a way out of this closed circle, and this is the declarative development, where we need to be concentrated not on the things how to make the solution, but on what shall be made. And you don't need to write all the application from zero. We need to split the solution in modules. For every module should have its own functionality and should have a declarative interface. And the main idea is everybody needs to know that if at the enter we will provide in this code one number, at the out log we will get some preliminary data, and then when we will have this set of modules, it will be made very important in terms for the enterprise development. Out of these results, preliminary results, we can form the end result. And business doesn't give a heck from where you will get the results, quality system or not quality system. The main for business is the result, quality result. And you, if you will go to the module development of declarative platforms, you will be constantly developing your code, the quality of your code, because when you will make a certain module and implement it into one solution, and when will reuse in 5 other solutions, and in every 5 instances you will find one mistake, all the applications will be changed for the better, and it will be for the better for all the change. But to go to the declarative development, there is a price, and there is a very high price on the first step, because from the very beginning you will need to implement many modules, and this costs a lot, really. And this is the second reason why we took and we decided to use the FByte platform. This platform is module area oriented, and it's very cost efficient for your entrance into the declarative development. The best side of it is that your splitting of your solution into modules is made on the stage of analysis. When you're building the model of data, you need to understand the business analytics, or you have a vision of business analytics. You study the request of the user. You outline the model of data for this application. You understand the scope of this application, the matter, and then you make use of the essence of this application within a module that already exists, or you create a new module and put it into the package which makes the digitalization of one of your businesses. Like, for example, we have the manufacturing module with correspondence, so mailing, and there is an entity, inbound document, outbound document. There are some orders and so on, and there is an essence of orders, request for rescheduling, and these are the essences and modules that are a part of a huge package of business support module. And we have also automatization, like for finances, for law and order, for project activity. And when you start to make a model of your data, at the very beginning, it seems that it is a huge work, but in several months of your work, you see a landscape of your IT system that will very deeply help you and give you a guess where to develop your system to. And again, along with the fact that you have a lack of time and you are every time conflicting with the business, you every time hear negative from the users, because the users say that perhaps your solution is not feasible, not understandable, not easy to understand, because you are switching from one module to the other, and they don't understand it quite well. Because again, as I told you, the team is changing, ever changing, and 10 applications were developed by 10 different people, and everybody of them has solved one and the same task by their own means. That means the scenario of use of application will be different, perhaps a bit different, but still different. And the user is mind blown, because the user is not understanding that every application is unique and it should be studied from zero, from scratch. And in this situation, it's not so easy to support and to develop this situation. You need to rewrite everything. And this is the reason number 3 why we started to use a backlab. This framework in the declarative style allows for the declaratively reset the design of the application. And I hope that from the declarative description, we will also later generate design. This declarative declaration will also put the limits. And this, as the cat on the picture, you will be also dancing through these lasers to try to find the set of declarative declaration that will provide for the solving of your task. And we are using this for the 2 years, and the set of components that we have would be okay for us. It would be we did not need some more, and if we will need to add something, we will add it, of course. But what is the scenario that is put here in this set of the components? Because the user is opening an application, and I think 99% of your applications are realizing this scenario. The application is open, then by default you have a representation, and there is a navigation with links for other representations. And the other representations have a canon of actions that will strive for another actions, and there are also strings for the writing down. So the user has a choice. User can either change the representation or can put an action, call it for an action, and will then act as an MVC format in this action, or the user would be able to open a certain document. And in this case, there will be just an open form. And the form is also comprised out of its own panel of actions with this set of iterations. It has also a header, and it can have attributes direct on the forum, or it can be a part of many inlets. There can be part inlets and so on. And the other moment is in the inlet, I don't say that I put fields within, and this is the peculiarity of this problem. I don't know how to name it. I name it right now attribute, but if you have another name for the things that are in this tab, this is an attribute of a form. It has the properties name, element of management for this attribute, and the field, of course. And it can be like this. The attribute can have 2 fields, from and to. And this is an area that was realized already, and that will be realized further. And why do I name it attribute but not a field? I will now disclose it. Because although we have this declaration here, I want to show that the Byte.Platform has 2 different components that you will also use, even if you will not use this platform per se, because those 2 components are very useful. The first component is the calendar, and I think everybody knows the calendar in the mailbox. And we know that there is a closed code. We don't every time understand how it works. I needed to, for a certain time, to understand how it works. Then I invested my time and I put this calendar. I hope you will use this calendar. And there is a button service, and you can use many different macros, like fill in only Mondays, fill in only Tuesday, fill in each second day, everything that business would want to ask to you. And the second is a bit more challenging in its outline, is the synchronous editor of several fields. That means if we make mapping, we need to edit 2 or 3 fields simultaneously. And at the same time, we don't need to give the user to change in the field 1 the value number 3, and in the second value the value number 2. It should be synchronously changing all the strings. But here in this grids on the forums, we were discussing this, and the grid editor, it is existing. You can use the grid editors. And shall you have any questions, please ask. Well, we know also when there is a lack in time in your work, you try to put the code into a family replics of ID, way to files, and the numbers that are like this. McConnell names this the magical values. And this is not a good way, because this is not providing for a good process, because when you will enter a code into the family,
so this automation will not get you any use. It is zero use. And this is the fourth reason, but historically it was the first reason why we transferred to FByte. Here we have two modules that help to avoid these kind of situations. First, this is about the settings. And in the settings with a key, you can insert all the values that are in Lotus. Those are the texts, the lists of dates, names, figures, etc. You can also insert periods of dates and rich text. So you can also get some sample over there template. And the second function here appeared a little bit later. This is the database module. Its main task is to return you the object from the database with a key, like a DNS server. In the code, you write a domain name, for example, Yandex.ru, and then you get the IP address that can help you. And so the routes that are used by this database module, when you register them, the route will not be connected to the server where the databases are located, but rather it will be on the FByte.Platform where this database is registered. And if you then transfer this database to another server, and if you place the FByte.Platform in the same place, then everything will be working, because your code is not connected to the location of the database when it comes to the directory of the server. It is about the platform location. And if you have a folder with the company, for example, then you can have an FByte.Platform file, a folder in there. And so all the databases will be living and parasiting over there. That's how you'll be able to copy this folder between servers, clusters, etc., and you will not get any headache. The same goes about the essences. And this is the key feature, I believe, when it comes to this framework. So thanks to this architecture, you are going away from inventing the new wheel of how to get the documents to the loop and how to insert another reference and link to another loop to help my user to refer to that in this document. So everywhere is different. And each developer believes that he or she will reinvent it from the very beginning. And on FByte.Platform, we have a special module. It is called links or references. And its main idea is that any essence that is there within FByte.Platform could be forming such a link that if you place this in any module that exists within FByte.Platform, you'll be able to get this essence by the link with any module. And what's nice, well, you have a couple of contours of this FByte.Platform, and you can also have cross links between the contours. So if you're on the system of agreements and you have an A company, and then you can also refer to the counterparty within system B, and this link will be working. And in the end, we get to a situation when we can improve the quality of our solutions and to make them reach such a level that we can be declarating a declarative module. I would like us to be a declarative module for our business. Our business should understand that if we get a kind of a parameter at the very entrance, which is the request and argument, well, at the stage of request, the business should know what it will get and how and when. And FByte, it's a contemporary and modern solution, and engineers should study a lot of different things. And Domino, for the last couple of years, have been not that developed, and it is difficult to integrate it with the cutting-edge solutions. So if you are a developer, then you have to be a developer on Java and Domino as well. And on Java, you do everything with cutting-edge solutions, and in Domino, you are working like you were working 10 years before. And so my main idea is that with the help of FByte.Platform, we can draw a bridge between Domino and all these newest technologies to marry Domino with DevOps. And so we could provide our developers with the opportunity not only to live in the Domino world, but also they could use the whole spectrum of these technologies in their daily work. And it will help them to grow professionally, and they'll be more valuable in the market. And secondly, the business will also win because the speed of delivery will be globally faster. And I hope that that's how I answer the platform, answer the questions, why do we need FByte.Platform? And now I'd like to explain how it works. And now I'm acting as an author of this framework, not as just a representative of Sheremetyevo Airport. I would like to say that I started to read the database on Atlas and Confluence product. You have a link here, you can scan it, and you'll be seeing the structure only, unfortunately. But if you have any questions, please write to me, and that's how this priority will get attention, and I'll finalize it first and foremost. Now let's talk about the conceptual architecture of this framework. Well, this is a multi-layer one. We do have a lot of dumps in there, all the codes that have been dumped somewhere in C app, in different apps, they work with files. So everything that I couldn't get anywhere, then this is all in FByte MISC. And then we have FByte controls. There we have a calendar and the simultaneous editor of fields. Then we have FByte.Platform, another layer. So this is the first layer of the true FByte.Platform. We have all the abstract classes that give the baseline for the inheritance. So we have contour there, we have the register of packages, of modules, we have classes and descriptions of modules, of packages, and we also have the service of logging over there. You can just get separate from them, and you can write your own logger in there, and that's probably it. Or we also have a link over there, so the class links are stored over there. At the lowest level, it's working. And above the FByte.Platform, we have FByte Core. Those are the modules that I've been talking about, such as the systems, the settings, the cache, transactions. This is as well the module. Well, we have a lot of modules, the data models, the facade, with which you can describe the interfaces. So everything that we have is in the FByte Core. Then we have above, once again, FByte Base. There we have abstract classes. Those allow the solutions that are above FByte Base to work with the data model, not through a long route when you first have to get the service of the data model, then to have the wrap of the document, and then you have to call get field value. No, you just get the entity and you get the value, get item value, and then you get the value that you request. So you just have the shortcut now. And if you have a legacy system, and if you want to connect it to FByte.Platform, then you have two approaches. Well, 90% of cases, it will be enough to just describe the module of data declaratively, and it will be working. But there are some modules when, for example, well, everything is very tricky in there, and you have to work with legacy a little bit more. And in this case, you need to go one step below, and you need to inherit your service of the module from FByte Core. And then you have to reproduce all the mechanisms that are inbuilt there and that have been implemented on FByte base. So, and this will probably be the first article for me to write for Wikipedia to describe how it can be done. And we've been experimenting with Pavel Lushkevich, and with FByte base, he could draw his application to FByte.Platform. It took him 1 hour or an hour and a half. So don't be afraid. In 90% of cases, 90, it will be easy. But if it doesn't work, well, this is not the catastrophe. This is not a disaster. Everything can be worked out and implemented. And so let's now talk about all the classes on FByte.Platform. How do they survive and live with each other? Well, 99% of the classes of the framework can be characterized as the follows. The first, the service of packages. So each package has its own service. This is the blue color here. We have FByte core and FByte base. So we have 2 packages. And if you want to have your own package, then you'll have 3 ones. Then we have a module service, the red one, so to say. We also have entities in here, the yellow one. All entities have their wraps. And we have the Paternal domain module. I know that somebody believes that this is a bad framework, but I do not agree with it, because I believe that enterprise development does not require a rich data model, rich database, because the engine is the core and the object is just the getter and setter. So it is a plain object Java, so to say. Why do we need to get a rich model? If anything that is connected to rich will go to the process engine. The only thing that I got from those already devastated objects of the model of data, those are the features that are in the services, in the module, in the package, and in the service of packages. And due to that, the mechanism of links is working. You can transfer the road to the service, and you can also transfer the ID. And this mechanism of the service of packages can perform routing with this link. It will find the model that we need in the package that we need, and then we call get entity, and you'll get the object from the database that is required. So this is quite a transparent one, simple one, but the profit is quite significant. The framework implements the life cycle. Well, any good framework should have a life cycle, I believe. A life cycle is a feature of the service of packages, of a package, and of a module. To be more precise, of the services of package, of the service of packages, and of the service of modules. So we have also the terminate feature in here. When we initialize FByte packages, then all the packages will be initialized, those that were transferred in here. So FByte core and FByte case are initialized in here. And the order will be similar to the order that they've been added. So first core and then base. But when we initialize the core package, the framework will take a look at what modules have been registered with the core package, and then the initialize method will be called, and you as developers of your modules will be able to write in your initialize all the logic that will guarantee, as you believe, that if my module have gone through initialize, then I guarantee that everything is all right. I have bases, I have entities, I have settings, etc., etc. So you can package all this. That you have also a license for the use of your module. You can also place it over there. You can get it all in the initialize function. And if the check has not been passed, then, well, when an error occurs, at least one module is not initialized, then one package is not initialized, then we have an error, then everything is down, nothing is working. That's how it all works. And when you call terminate, then this is the vice versa order. First, terminate calls the last package, and the last package calls the last registered module. And then with the logic of cascade, first you initialize the last module, then the last package, then the last package, last module, etc., etc. And then everything is worked out. FByte packages manager will terminate itself, the transaction is closed, and well, this is executed. And then you'll have a message that, well, hallelujah, this is good, this is working. Now let's talk about the design generation. This is the second key feature. It hasn't been finalized yet, but I believe that it'll just explode our brain. Because you will not have to spend your time with this on drawing these forms and visions. From the framework, you will send an HTTP request or email. Currently, it is email. So XML file with a declarative description of the application. Here we have it, request 1, request 2. I've shown it on purpose. And in response, the service will generate a DXL file with a design, and you'll get it. After that, you will import it to your solution. And you'll be doing only programming of actions, not the whole application. I believe that it will save us a lot of resources. And as another advantage, as a perk, well, your application will be described declaratively in XML file. That's how you'll get the opportunity of the storage of versions. Well, I don't know how to integrate it, but WinVerge, in comparison, well, this is a free of charge product. You'll not have to pay anything for it. Well, and this product is available out of box. I'm not sure whether it will deliver any profit because we haven't finalized those functions. But at the same time, I believe that by the end of the year, it will be accessible. And then modal view controller. So we can't do without it. Finally, we've managed to implement it. I believe that this is a quite success for me, achievement. And the main idea is that all the forms has the save options null function, no control S, no other operations. So we just get the layer of visualization out of the data. So we separate them, and you don't have to use any savers, and you don't have to go to database. Well, there are some workarounds, but since we'll be generating this design automatically, then we will address this problem. Sorry, my battery is running out of charge, so I'll just have to connect it. How does it work? Well, save options is 0, and controller is action, either at the form or at the vision or at the panel of the view. So we have 3 versions of controller, and depending on the controller that we use or the object that is connected to that, the executor of this action will get either MVC form or MVC view, and the model will be delivered or a collection will be delivered. So we'll have MVC collection of the connected entities. And here you'll be able to process it with a normal script, which is quite understandable. You'll be able to process all the data. You can draw it from the form to the module and vice versa. And at the same time, you'll be able to have the result in a number of actions. For example, in here, we see some actions. Close, for example, but you can also open a new form. You can go to another view, etc., etc. So I don't remember all of them. Unfortunately, I haven't forgot to attach the picture in here, but if you have any questions afterwards, I'll be able to answer them. Now let's talk about snippet-based development. This is a flash past. I tried to talk about it last time, but the equipment broke down. There were some problems with the screen, so I will try to do it once again to tell you about this. This is a paid program. It costs from $4 to $7. It's a Russian developer. So when you go to the Russian website, please switch to the Russian channel, Russian language, and that's how the price will drop. That's how you can get the arrays of codes and samples of codes in the field of a structure. And with this structure, you can search. So you don't have to remember what is where. For example, if you start to use the FPAC managers and the tree, and then you can just get the value that you need. And with this, you'll be able to reduce the time, to increase the quality, and make it very simple for the team to understand. It'll be unified style for your team, because there are some elements. And well, this snippet database can be placed in the system of version management, and it can be distributed everywhere.
And as an example, for example, you could every week use a meeting and ask, would you like to add some module or declarative description of the module, example of a code, and this brings us all closer and helps us in the work. And by the way, if you begin to use it, and if you want to add something, please contact me, write to my mail, and I'm ready every time to change everything, because we are out of pace here, of course. And this platform also provides for the possibility to save files and the storage of files. Yes, thanks to HCL. Thanks them, they could increase the volume for 256 gigabyte, and this is the better and better from one version to the other. But still, if you want to diversify your application, this presence of inlets in the cart is making it not so easier, and this provides for not an easier modification. And we in each direct use this only for two things: for storage of files and for storage of yellow links. Yellow links are then changed to repeater links, and the others are changed to the configurator. And you can register your database in the configurator. You may put that right down that this is a file storage. You can create 100 database to forget about this for a long period of time. And when you then later on the forum change some application, the system goes to the configurator and takes the first out of the list. Every 30 seconds agent is working, and this is a rebalancer which writes in all the database their current sites, and the smallest is up, and there is a low probability of a dump. You can create 1,000 databases, but I think 100 databases will be okay. And we have a version approach here, and the one thing that is not there is the problem with synchronization of access. And here for this, you will need a data flow service, which will provide on the kern-based development to catch up the changes in the parent card and write them down further. But now it's not realized, but I hope that we will realize it further. Then testing. Thanks to to our shift. Okay, the shift is not done, but we will shift to NVC, and in NVC there is a test mode, and test mode, its essence is the following: everything that you would transfer in your processor of NVC to submit, like close the form and open the representation, it will be not made in the method of submit if the test mode is on. And even if you saved something, although if you were not making notice document, everything is written down into transaction, and you may restore this transaction. Even if the action is okay, then it's okay. If no, if the action is not okay, you would just write down a message that the test is not done, and until in the next year we will use it, and I hope that my team will also support it, and we will use it in 2021. Byte facade web client, and this is a dream, of course, and this is the dream to which we were going very long, but we did not finalize it. We are very close here. I will show it to you if the time will let us do this. What is the essence? We have declared the model of data. We also declared the representation layer, and we have NPC that runs all these actions out of the client, and the God's will is to go to the full synchronized web interface. That means everything that you were doing in the client on the toast would work also in Byte facade. And of course, if you have no integration with some local things like with Excel, Word, or other old solutions, we have these integrations, but now we're thinking of how to leave it. What is the idea behind it? The REST API is made by a Byte facade for all these zones, and you may get any object of the scheme, like API schemes. There are there, and there is also API data where you write down the domain of the entity, and you may CRUD it, and you may make everything what you want, if you have any rights, of course. And there will be also a submit action, and unfortunately we are working only now on submit action. How to use this wide platform to your solution. In my blog, I have an article how to do this, and if you're interested, you may read that. But the main idea is you need to use two tools. The first, if you have your own template, and I hope that you have a template, you may cascade the design and everything what is in the current template, you may search it and make it as a parent template from one to the other also. If you don't see this scenario as an option, there is another option, the second variant, when in every application, all the elements are taken out of one template or to the other template. There is a design of parameters, of course. And of course, I already mentioned this, that the framework per se is 20% better when you will not use FlashPast. So how much does it cost? Of course, we understand that when I say it costs nothing, everybody is asking why it's for free. What is the hack here? And I will try to tell you why it is like this. I think that we all need that Lotus will go back to the level on which it was 15 years ago, because all the data that we've gathered will be declared void, and nobody wants this. And for this sake, I am ready to work for free. And secondly, when I will create a community of framework, I'm pretty sure that my value on the market as a specialist will grow. And the third is, we don't need to forget that in the process of work on this framework, I also supported my skills for system design, product programming, agile programming, for Docker, everything that needs very much effort and research. And this is the development tool for me, and this is very interesting for me, and this is one of the keys for me. If I don't earn real money here, it was very interesting. And fourth, of course, I'm thinking about how to monetize this. And in the first line, as my friends and comrades told me, if a framework is fully for free, then business has the problems with the support, and business is afraid of tomorrow will be no support, and all the investments into framework will be dumped in the trash can. Therefore, I am thinking about the fact how to do this, and it's for me just to get all the positive moments out of here. I can tell you that Lotus script framework versions will be for free, but if at some point of view I will understand that I have no time, no wish, and I will close this project, I will go to open source and give this project to the open source, and this is my commitment. I think it will be okay for everybody. And here, if we look at this cost, I also specially shown that the Lotus script is for free, FByte.Platform will be as a template for free, web client will be also for free, but generation design of forms, as of now, it is not working, and I'm not ready to take some money for this. But if for a certain period of time you will be interested in this, I will be ready to discuss this. And of course, if you are afraid, and if you think that you will need the technical support, we can also discuss this. And the web client, I plan to open the open codes, the source codes, because I understand that in every company there is its own understanding of the beauty of code. Therefore, please, you are kindly welcome if you have React developers who better than I know how it works, please write and contact me. I want to prepare it to the open source. And at the end of my presentation, I want to speak about our plans. What do I want to make more? Because this is the only very beginning. I understand that the framework is now only born, and it has a huge prospects here. We need to realize the dependencies management for us to be able to use one module if it's depending on the other module. There is also a constructor redact, the editor of formulas. There should be a functional here, and we need these functions to generate the forms. We also want not only generate forms and representation, we also want to get forms for productive search, for us to give to have a possibility to choose many documents and representation and tap on action, and this action would be used for every of the documents. And every driver here, I cannot publish it, but we need to realize for it a byte engine for every engine. I want to get the integration of biosystem, because everything goes to the declarative disclosed model of data. It's very interesting to database manager to use it and then to show it to the user very good graphs, beautiful graphs. I want to realize multi languages. It's just for us not to rewrite it on the other language. And I'll also want to have a possibility of other exarchs, for example, because now it's not there. I also want to make a Java version for Byte.Platform framework. Of course, there is a Java version, but I need to work with it on the practice. And we also need to make a system for access management for this. Is the declarative style. We would be able to disclose the model of access. And of course, when you will do this, when we will do this, I want to make an application shop for every developer to take an application for the platform and put it on the App Store and get access to the knowledge of other developers. And at the end, we will arrive at this picture, and I do hope that, of course, the plans are broad, but many aims are already achieved, and I see only the limitation in time, and I hope that we will make it. Shall I have any questions? Then please, you are kindly welcome to ask the questions. Thank you for Ramazan. Thank you. Thank you for this lecture. There was a question from guys. How much does it cost? Okay, it seems to be so how to make it. There is also, so you had a great connection and you've managed to answer to this question. But the main idea is, could you please show your blog or somewhere where we can follow you? My blog is at the very beginning of my presentation. Now I will open up the presentation for the next time. Yes, let's show it on the screen. Yes, here is my blog on FByte. So blog.fbyte.ru, please enter. There are some articles from my side, and if you have questions about rolling and unrolling, please try to access me WhatsApp or write down any comments, and I'm monitoring this constantly, and I'm ready to answer, because feedback is very stimulating me in my work. Do we have time, or shall we now close? We don't have any questions for now, because I don't see in Telegram no questions, but we have additional time. So if we have additional time, I think it would be useful for me if my virtual machine is working right now. I just wanted to show you how a web interface is working right now. Let us try to start it, and if it will work, then it's okay, because on the notebook there are too many things. No, it doesn't want to be loaded right now. So we need to put IP address here, Yes, now we know the number of the IP address, so let's try it. Now I understand this. I know why it's happening, because the engine is not working, so for web interface. So VPN, run server. Now we will start our system and we will see how it works. Now it loaded our IP schemes, and here's correspondingly somewhere our server is listening to us. So web interface is now loaded. We are waiting for the list of all application. No, it did not load, unfortunately. So no means no here. But the main idea was we had to see in the configurator the whole list of applications that are registered there. So the whole list of applications could be put into web, and here is a special demo application that I specially developed for an RNUG. There is a model of data description. There is a participant with several features, and there are some forms, there are some representations, and correspondingly you can like open it. So this is the application. It looks like this. We need to wait for it. My virtual machine is not working very well right now. So yes, we have this application here. This is the design that will be principally possible to be generated automatically, and we of course will make it better. And how does the design look like in this database? There is a design refresh, and we are asking the server here like this as an XML, so it will now open. And now we are loading the description of model, of interface, of formula, and if there are some queries and logs, there will be also downloaded. And at the end, we are getting the ready response as a DSL, which everybody of you knows, I hope. This is the classical TXL, with help of which you can form the design of application, and there is a comparison mechanism when you can compare this and what was changed. So now my computer is also not letting me to make it very fast. It will work right now, and then we will start a merge. But when there are 150 programs, it doesn't work like this. But of course, here it is the same. No, still something changed. Look, the data changed from the creation. I think the creation data is just changed. And that's all, because this is a demo version. And classically, if you will change something more defined in this model, you will see it. And I hope this will really help you very much in search for reasons of your mistakes. And in the future, I think you will be able to find who made these mistakes. That's all from my side. Thank you. And now we have one more question. How many people work on this project? Is it you alone? So as the developer of the platform, I am the one, but my colleagues, they are user of this platform, and I think 4 of them there are already. Yeah, thank you. That's all for now, I think. Thank you. Wish you good luck. Ramazan, thank you so much.